everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Day to Day, the podcast where we explore the joys and challenges of everyday life. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. Whether it's personal growth, navigating relationships, or just tackling the chaos of the day, we're here to talk about it all and hopefully help you along the way.
So grab your coffee, tea, or whatever keeps you going.
And let's dive into today's episode. So today we're diving into the tangled web of love and control in relationships. You know, it's funny how sometimes people can't quite tell where one ends and the other begins, right?
Absolutely. It's like that age-old saying, love will make you do crazy things. But here we're talking about how love can sometimes seem like it's mixed with control.
Right. I remember reading about this woman who was baffled when her boyfriend refused to go to the hospital despite some serious chest pain. She pushed him to go and he freaked out, claiming she was trying to control him.
Ah, the age-old hospital standoff. But it's a real issue. Why do people sometimes see genuine care as an attempt at control? Is it the way affection is communicated, or perhaps past experiences shaping their view?
Could be both. It's like walking a tightrope. But in many romantic relationships, you often see this mix where care and, yes, control are tangled
I
up.
think parents play a big role in how we view these dynamics. Like in psychology, Baumrin talks about parenting styles, which can really shape how we understand love and control.
Exactly. There are these different styles, authoritative, authoritarian, indulgent, and neglectful, and they really lay the groundwork for how we interact as adults.
That makes perfect sense. Authoritative parenting, which is a mix of high demands and high responsiveness, supposedly raises the most well-rounded individuals.
Yeah, it's like the golden mean. On the other hand, authoritarian parents might control with discipline, but show less warmth.
And then there's indulgent and neglectful, which skew the other way, either too loose or too distant. Both extremes are problematic.
So, when you think about it, if someone grows up under authoritarian rule, they might see any form of care as control. It's like a conditioned response.
Interesting point. It's like our early experiences become the blueprint for our grown-up relationships. So that begs the question, how do we strike the right balance as adults?
Well, it starts with open communication, right? Expressing what behaviors resonate as care versus feeling suffocatingly controlled.
Completely agree. And sometimes that means redefining control. Maybe a loving act like the hospital scenario can turn into a caring dialogue.
Totally. Imagine saying, "I'm worried because I care about you," instead of demanding, "You have to go to the doctor." It changes the narrative.
Language is powerful, isn't it? But also, accepting that some control, like in setting healthy boundaries, isn't inherently bad.
Boundaries within love. That's a solid concept. It's not about limiting someone, but ensuring both feel safe and respected.
Preservation of self within a partnership. That's key. And acknowledging that sometimes these lines blur, and that's okay.
Let's not forget the famous compulsive caregiving you mentioned earlier. That's when care itself almost feels like a control mechanism.
Yes, it's like a relentless need to care, almost like a compulsion, and can be as stifling as outright control.
It reminds me of those parents or partners who check every minute detail, not because they want to dominate, but because it relieves their anxiety.
Exactly. It's more about calming their own fears. And in relationships, it can come off as overbearing.
And then it's about learning to manage that compulsion, stepping back to see if we're really helping or just projecting our own anxieties.
Right. Empathy overload can cloud judgment, being attuned to others' needs while keeping your own control in check.
Seems like there's no one-size-fits-all answer here. It's a mix of our upbringing and conscious decision-making in how we handle love versus control.
True that, and understanding that we have control over how much love and control to wield in our relationships.
So what's your take? Are you the one who likes to have control in your relationships, or do you let go?
I try for a balance, you know? I'm big on communication, laying down love and control like clearly defined lanes in a highway.
And maybe that's where love and control can harmonize. Finding those lanes is challenging, but worth the drive.
Well said. For anyone feeling too controlled or like they're the controller, it's all about setting healthy boundaries.
Exactly. It's a continual process, and it's okay to ask for help from partners to find equilibrium.
Thanks for today's chat. Here's hoping we all find satisfying, beautiful connections where love and control enhance rather than hinder.
Here's to that. And remember, sometimes a bit of control shows deep care, but too much can obscure true affection.
As they say, a healthy relationship doesn't just happen. It's built, thought by thought, boundary by boundary.
Cheers to building those walls, but with a few windows for fresh air. Until next time.